Well, Pat, it's been a tough old journey. You won 3 to start the tour, and now you've been outplayed in 3 and lost 2, and haven't got the dream of winning the series that you were all looking for. What went wrong?
I think Manchester were outplayed, but I think all the other 4 matches really were pretty even. Right to the end, other than maybe Lords, other than Stokes, he got close. But I think it was just one of those kind of series where every game was really close. We got on the right end of it the first 2 games, and then unfortunately, couldn't quite get over the line in the last few. So disappointing. But, as you said, overall a really good tour.
So were you increasingly fatigued as the series went on? Were the guys just running out of petrol?
I think no doubt everyone gets more fatigued, but I don't think that's a huge factor. Didn't get it done. There's lots of key moments that we just didn't quite get right. I don't think fatigue played a huge factor.
Pat, it seemed like the ball change yesterday, just before the rain break, was a pretty big turning point in the match. How did you feel about it?
Yeah, it seemed that way. Davey and Uzi both walked off and said that new ball's reacting a lot differently to the one they'd had previous. They said it was a bit harder, a bit more bounce, and a bit more nibble off the pitch. So it's one of those things. It's cricket. There's been multiple ball changes all series, so. Perhaps that one made a bit more of a difference than kind of previous ones, but it's cricket.
Can I ask about your left wrist? Are you in a bit of trouble there? And just generally about some of the fast bowlers and other people who might be carrying things that you might not want to talk about before. Could you?
I landed on my wrist on day 1, just in the field going for a run out. So it's pretty sore. So we'll get it assessed over the next few days and kind of work out if anything needs to happen. But I think Mitchell Starc coming off a sore shoulder, managing that through this game was an incredible effort. Ended up playing out the series for our team. Managing that throughout this game was a proper, just a proper effort. There's always different things you kind of trying to deal with throughout the way, but overall everyone's pretty good.
But just after a series like that, just the way England play Test cricket, do you think that was a lot of fun? We'll see how they play 2.5 years' time. Or do you think Test cricket is headed in that direction, like a lot of people in this country seem to believe?
I think every team has their own kind of style. I know when we play in Australia, a lot of other teams think it's quite aggressive. The run rates tend to be up around 4+. I think these things go in phases. You see in India the last few years, it's been really big turning wickets, and then you might go through a phase where it's suddenly flat wickets. In Australia, start of my career, felt like it was quite batter-friendly wickets, and in the last few years it's been more skewed towards the bowlers. So, I don't know.
Just one more. The series 2 all. I mean, you wanted to win, but that hasn't happened. Do you look at the players who have enhanced themselves on this tour, and maybe others who probably haven't, as the series has gone on?
I haven't thought about that too much, to be honest. I think Mitchell Starc was our, the player of the series for our team, and. This time 4 years ago, he wasn't in the side. So for him to put up another performance like that just shows his worth and his class. To be honest, everyone else I haven't really thought about too much. I mean, Mitchell Marsh is probably another great story of this series. He probably thought he was never going to play another Test match, and to come out and dominate that first innings back in Headingley and look like he well and truly belonged the last couple of Test matches is. That's a great moment for Mitch.
If we go back sort of Headingley onwards, are there any moments that were in your control that you have regrets about, that you might have done things differently if you could have them over again?
For sure. I think there's a couple of key probably partnerships batting-wise. It felt like if we just, put on another 50 runs or so, that could have really turned the tide in our favour. No doubt that one big innings that they put on, you'd look at, you could maybe do some things a little bit differently. But again, you never know that would change anything. It's too many unknowns.
Pat, just wondering how you look at the first 16, 18 months of yours and Andrew McDonald's time working together. Obviously, you win in Pakistan, drawn series in Sri Lanka, a lot of hope about India, don't get it there, retain here, don't win. Does it sort of feel like it's a lot of frustrating missed opportunities while at the same time achieving a fair bit, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's fair in some ways. I think because we've had really good series, especially at home, and we've had a lot of success, kind of the bar gets raised a little bit. So coming over here, retaining the Ashes feels like a little bit of a missed opportunity. But, in 2019, we were kind of all pretty happy about a retained Ashes. So I don't think we should lose sight of that. I think it's a huge achievement to come over here and win and get ourselves into many winning positions. Same in India, we got ourselves into some really good positions. So yeah, again, just missed what we're hoping to come over here to achieve, but winning the World Test Championship, retaining the Ashes is a pretty successful tour.
Okay, one more. I know it's become a repeated question about David Warner almost after every game, but sort of where do you assess where things are at for him going into his last home summer, he hopes, obviously? Does his batting sort of sum up where things went this whole tour for you guys? A lot of starts, a lot of opportunities, but just never sort of nailing what would have been a statement innings for both him and the team?
Yeah, don't know what the future holds for anyone really, but I don't know. There's some times where he looked really good, played some really important innings. I think that's the thing about playing in England is you can get the conditions against you. He walked out sometimes under lights and clouds, and a 30 there is worth double. And I thought the partnership he put on yesterday with Wills was fantastic. So yeah, probably the story of the tour was so many little moments where he felt like he just got on top of the game and they got themselves back in, and vice versa. We were kind of on the other side of that as well.
Without mentioning a certain word, taking the series as a whole, England's bowlers' economy has been consistently under 3.7, and all the Australian bowlers have gone for more than 4. Now, many would say you've got the best bowling attack in the world. On reflection, would you say that England's aggressive batting approach had paid off against you?
I'm not too bothered about economy rates at all, really. You're there to win games, so I know there's been lots of different scorecards taken on economy rates and loads of other things, but they don't really matter to me. But I thought the English bowlers have been fantastic. They've found ways to get wickets on pretty benign wickets, so yeah, I think they've been impressive.
Pat, clearly you did the hard work early to get that 2-0 lead, but was there a sense of hollowness accepting the trophy when you haven't won a test in about a month? And if not, what's the overwhelming feeling from the group as a whole after this?
It's probably just one of the missed opportunity, really. It just felt like we got ourselves into some really good positions. First of all, winning the first 2 games, but in Headingley, and then again this week, match-winning positions, and just didn't quite capitalise, which that happens. We're out of it in Birmingham and found a way to win. So, I think once we reflect on it, we'll be proud that it's, we retained it. It's been a wonderful tour, but we all turn up today, obviously hoping to get up and win 3-1.
Are you going to celebrate, I suppose, at any level?
I think at the end of most series we do. So yeah, I'm sure we'll get around, and it's been a great tour. So yeah.
Pat, I just wanted to elaborate on that question. When you were there getting the urn, what actually emotion were you thinking? Because the rest of the team looked very deflated, but what was going through your head?
I think, just as I said before, just one of kind of missed opportunities, but I think once we give it a bit of time, we'll reflect on this series and look back pretty proudly on it.
So is that disappointment?
Of course, yeah. We just lost the game.
Pat, the crowd has been treated with some fantastic cricket throughout the Ashes, but one disappointment obviously was the overrate from both sides. And so going forward, what will be your suggestion especially for Test cricket in countries like England, Australia, when we don't see spinners bowling from both ends. So what will be your realistic suggestion to keep the over rate in check?
I mean, this series was a bit of an outlier. I don't think we've had any over rate sanctions in a few years. So I think Nathan Lyon or when he plays, we tend to be okay. This game, Todd Murphy played and we were fine with the over rate. So it's pretty rare for us to be behind.
A couple more, we'll finish up, folks. Go down here first. Pat, hi. Commiserations on today. I guess as a professional sports person, it's all about winning. But it's been a fantastic, compelling series, wonderful sport, amazing, memorable moments. Is there pleasure to be had as a sportsman in playing part in creating such magic sport?
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. I think that's been one of the best things about the last 8 weeks. Just walking around the streets even, you always kind of expect one idiot every now and then, but there honestly hasn't been any in the streets. Everyone's been amazing and just been talking about the cricket and how much they've loved it. And I know the same's back in Australia. Big viewers, lots of people interested in cricket, which, how good's that? It doesn't get any better. So, I was a bit young for 2005, but that series gets talked about a lot and it feels like this one might be the same.
And just quickly, they wheeled out confetti cannons to go off at the trophy's presentation, and then they never did. But did you ask them not to bother, or did they just nothing to do with it?
No, we'll save them for later.
Pat, just wanted to ask you about Nathan Lyon, and I suppose the experience of not having him for three and a half Test matches, or a bit more than 3.5 Test matches, and I suppose what that meant for the series, but also what it means to, I guess, the importance of bringing Todd through, so that when that you won't have Nathan in the future, that you've got Todd.
Yeah, it's pretty clear how just how important Nath is in all conditions. And I think we probably felt that at times at Manchester, not having a spinner out there, just that change of pace, someone who you feel like can control the pace of the game when the wicket's quite flat and pace bowlers potentially can't as well. I think looking at this week, Todd did a fantastic job. I think he took 4 wickets in the second innings, but always felt like he was asking questions, could get breakthroughs when the wicket didn't have a lot on offer. So really impressed with Todd. Hopefully Nath's got plenty more cricket left in him, but Todd's there ready to go as well, which is great.
Last one.
Thanks. Pat, you spoke right at the start of the tour about it probably being legacy defining in terms of away ashes for captains and also particularly this group of players. So I wonder how you feel now about the legacy being defined, what you think it might be. And for you yourself as captain, you've come in for some pretty severe criticism, I guess, from certain quarters back home in cricket. Do you think that's unfair? Do you think people get so wound up about or not realising how difficult it is to win an Ashes series in England?
I think I said whether we like it or not, Ashes tend to define eras or legacies. So I think if that's the case on this one, I think it's something we could be really proud of. Both, the last 2 series over here, we've retained the Ashes. That doesn't happen very often. 2001, I think it was the last time that we won an Ashes, didn't lose an Ashes over here. So it's something we should be proud of. The group's done some had some amazing achievements over the last few years. So if it is a legacy, that's one I'm happy to have. In terms of criticism, happens. We're out there. There's plenty of people watching at home and in the crowd, and that's part of the job. So, yeah.
Great. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Ta.